This is another thing that I was thinking about is this is like kind of, he's not openly coming out and saying that, but are we going to see this in the future potentially where prospects get draft or like the draft lottery happens and then players are like, yeah, I don't want to play for that team. So they just back out. Like we could potentially see that, especially with like the millennial generation. I know they just don't really give a fuck. So it's like,
well, yeah, we've seen it happen a couple times. I forget, was it Justin Schultz and or was it Justin Schultz or was it Cam Fowler? I forget. There's like
Adam Fox did it too.
Adam Fox did it as well.
Yeah, he was drafted by Calgary. He said he didn't want to play for Calgary and then signed with New York. Traded his rights for some duster, I'm pretty sure. But yeah.
BC did it as well. So we haven't had like a top prospect do this, but it is something that's been done. And then either you trade the rights or you hold out and keep them out of the league for, I think it's 3 years.
Yeah.
They finish college, graduate, and then come play as like a 22-year-old rookie and presumably light it up then. So I don't know, man. It's a tough one. Like if you're a top prospect, it's hard to take that risk of being like, yeah, I'm okay with not playing in the league for another 3 years. But I mean, if you really don't want to play somewhere, I guess fair enough. And maybe you can convince them to trade you. I mean, if your first overall pick says he's not playing for you, do you like try like hardballing him into coming by not trading his rights and just losing a first overall pick eventually? Or do you for like a discount, right? It puts the team in a tough situation too.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Buffalo too, and we've mentioned this in previous podcasts, is how fast they are to like fire the general managers and everything. And like how we've talked about general managers having like a lot longer of a like time or window to kind of get fired before they can, because I don't know, personally, I feel if you're a GM and you can't get that vision of like what your team needs to be when you start rebuilding of like 4 years, probably 4 to 5 years, I'd say is a good amount of time, then obviously, yeah, you got to fire. The problem is it's a business. So people are like, the owners are always wanting to turn over faster and make money quick. And hockey's kind of one of those sports where you got to take a little bit longer to rebuild. But if they can do it, they got to just stick with their GM, see what he can do. And if they rebuild and it doesn't work out again, that would be brutal. But I mean, you'll probably make the playoffs after this run. So,
I mean, dude, that's a good point too. Cause I think they fired their last GM and players he had drafted had only played like 8 games for Buffalo.
Yeah.
So you really do have to give the GM like a long enough window to make moves, draft players, and then give those players time to get into the league. And it's like, you can't really evaluate the performance of a GM over 2 or 3 seasons. It really does have to be like at least 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So I agree with that, where you need a little bit more continuity. And if you're a player going in there, like, doesn't look ideal for your development. And if your team's not well, you're not getting the continuity at coaching to like build a relationship, and develop your game. You're just getting your shit kicked in every night, and you're living in Buffalo. Like, that doesn't sound like a great deal for an 18-year-old, man.
The only good thing is the wings, so.
Yeah. And occasionally being able to go see a Bills game.
Yeah. Through a couple tables.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. And also I was thinking about it too. Could you not, like, if the draft lottery happened and you knew that you were going first overall or going close to it, could you not as a prospect be like, you could openly come out and say, if this team drafts me, I'm not going to play for them? Because that's your decision, right?
Good.
Yeah.
That's like such a not hockey thing to do. Like, we've seen it in like Eli Manning did it in football, which was like the high profile one.
Yeah.
But I don't think, like, I guess VC did it. He said he's not playing for Nashville, but that was after he got drafted, I think.
True. Yeah. Well, and it sucks if you're kind of Buffalo right now because, I don't know. According to Craig Button, apparently Owen Power is like, they haven't seen a defenseman like this in years. Like he's the comparable apparently is to Nicholas Lidstrom. So, I mean,
they already have a first overall pick who's comparable with Nick Lidstrom.
yeah, exactly. So it's like fucking. Yeah. I mean, if you have a a player that's being like put under that kind of class, it's like, holy shit, do you chance it, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Some years just have more hype around the prospects too, where there's definitely a couple more like good prospects, but let's not be wrong that these guys or these kids are still really, really talented. Just not as deep, obviously. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it plans, like how it works itself out and shuffles it out. But I could see a lot of teams like Ottawa's been talking about moving their pick up or down. I think there will be a lot of trades with Seattle being in the mix this year. So it should be a really good actual draft. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for that one.
I mean, Power definitely raised his draft stock by winning the World Championship. And I mean, he was getting matched up against like Vlad Tarasenko in the quarterfinals against Russia. Didn't look all that bad doing that. So you've seen him already against NHL talent, right? You kind of know what he's able to do. But Colton, I think it's a good point you make. Like, if Seattle won the draft lottery, would he be saying this? Because I feel like if you're a first overall pick going into the first season with a new franchise, that is definitely an environment you want to be in. More like that's a once in a lifetime opportunity, more so than just being the first overall pick is. So I feel like you're probably right. Maybe he just is 100% in on Seattle. Being Buffalo, like you look at what they've done with their last couple first overall picks and like how it's kind of played out, and maybe it's not all that enticing. I don't know.
Yeah, in Buffalo, you got to try and be the savior, or their fans want you to be the savior right away. But a lot of the times you're not. Nobody can just single-handedly be the one to bring your team up, unless you're Connor McDavid. But
I was gonna say the only exception.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna say with McDavid, dude. Like, do you guys remember though after that draft, like after the lottery, when Edmonton won that lottery, how devastated McDavid looked?
Oh yeah, he did. He looked upset.
Yeah.
Edmonton was already bad at that point, so.
Well, but he never said anything about it, right? So I feel like that's more the hockey culture among those top picks. It's a very specific like way that you're expected to act. So, but I will say that's changing. So we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised, maybe not this year, but sometime in the future, have top probably like first, second overall say, yeah, fuck that team, I'm not going there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I guess not Nick Lidstrom, fucking Eric Lindros did it pretty famously, but.
And a hell of a trade tree came out of that trade.
Yeah. 2 cups for Big CO.
Yeah, 0 cups for Eric Lindros.
Yeah, that didn't work out for him, eh?
Nope. No, maybe should have just learned to speak French.